5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
The final thing is, yes, I heard earlier, I can edit out curse words. I'd prefer not
We
to.
don't have to worry about that with this group.
We're all Christian.
Only some of the best cursors in the world are religious. So
It's an
yeah,
ongoing
it's
joke
true,
between her
yeah.
and I. One time, she is very devout, and one day, just in conversation, I went, since she's a Christian, and I don't know why I finger quoted, because I even was like, why did I just do that when I said that? So it's an ongoing thing. She's like, since I'm a Christian.
It's the greatest.
do you guys know Chris Farley, Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And he'd do the, people say I don't bathe regularly.
Right, yeah.
Wear clean underwear.
Right. It's one of my
No
favorite skits.
proper hygiene.
I'm too Christian to watch that
Carry
now.
conversation.
Yeah, she told me when she got older and moved out, she actually got to start watching SpongeBob.
No, it was Glee. I haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah,
SpongeBob
Glee. That's
still.
right.
Still haven't seen SpongeBob.
Yeah.
I've watched
don't really
neither of those.
Yeah.
Glee is.
You're not missing it.
She wasn't allowed to.
I grew up on Transformers. I feel like I turned out okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Robots in
Voltron.
disguise. Yeah. He-Man.
I don't know. Why did they always make the Decepticons cooler?
I mean, you could argue that villains in general are typically
Cooler.
cooler
Yeah.
in most
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
Well, top secret, we've already been recording because
I
Oh
figured
my
as
gosh.
people tend to freak out when I
Sure.
say, okay, we're starting now.
Fantastic.
So you've
You're
already,
sneaky.
it's already too late.
Yeah,
See?
speaking of the editing,
there's no reason to be nervous. So officially, we're kicking off. This is some of the cast for Meet Me in St. Louis, and the show runs Thursday, November the 30th through Sunday, December 3rd. Now, is the Sunday show a matinee?
it is. It's at 3 o'clock,
Okay, and the other ones are usually, what, 7?
about 6:30.
6:30. Okay, 6:30. And if you go to mineralareafineartsacademy.com, you can order your tickets.
We
That's what I saw
actually
online.
prefer you go to mafinearts.org.
Aha,
They'll
okay.
both take you to the same place, but for some reason the preference is to do mafinearts.org. But
Okay.
I think either will get you there.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So mafinearts.org is the preferred channel. You can get your tickets online. It's better than trying to sneak in. The school would appreciate ordering ahead of time.
Right.
Okay, so Jason Carr, you are the director.
That is correct. I'm the director of theater for Mineral Area Fine Arts Academy. I've been here for a little over 2 years now.
I imagine it's more like a zookeeper at times.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, a lot of that is really because of the types of shows that we've done to this point. You know, when we do Seussical and there's 81 people in the show, you know, it's
60 of them being kids.
yeah, almost 60 were under the age of 12 or 13. So you get in situations like that, and it's herding cats and zookeeping for sure.
Now, is this a relatively big show? How many are in
Yeah,
this?
we've got right around 50.
Okay. And is it the same where you have younger, or is it mostly
You know,
older students?
we usually have a lot more younger kids than we do this time. I think we've only got one or two that are under 10 or so.
Okay.
Seems like the sweet spot this time around was that, 11 to 13 is where most of our kids are this time.
All right, cool. And before we get too far in, do you want to introduce yourself? Just say your name, and then I assume, is everyone here a Mac student? Or
No. And that was a misconception, I
okay.
thought. Well, you are.
I
yes.
knew there would be some community and maybe some high school, but I didn't know who might be a Mac student. So just go ahead and tell us about yourself.
My name is Beth Francis, and I play Mrs. Anna Smith. I'm the mom, and I am from Farmington. So, yeah, I'm just a part of the community, and this is like my 5th or 6th play that I've done. So, love it. Absolutely love it.
Okay, great.
My name is Michael Cantrell, and I play Mr. Alonzo Smith. And I'm also just from the community. I live in Farmington as well.
He
And I
teaches
also
classes
teach-
for the academy.
I teach at the Fine Arts Academy as well, yeah.
Okay, what classes do you
I
teach?
teach Reader's Theater, and I teach theater games, and starting next session, I'm going to be teaching prose reading and poetry reading as well.
All right, good. Go ahead.
I am Hannah Hale. Nope. I am Hannah
just got
Hedrick.
married.
I got married in June.
That's okay.
It's the second time I've done
Forget your
that.
name.
Yeah. And I play Rose, and I am a Mac student, actually. I'm majoring in music education, so that's fun. I live over in Bismarck.
And what is this your freshman year, sophomore year?
Freshman year of college, yeah.
Okay, great. And how are things going so far?
Really great. Dr. Francis is one of my professors, and she's just lovely. She's lovely as a professor, and she's lovely doing the music for the show.
Yeah, she's our vocal director.
Okay, great. And last but not least,
Hi. I am London Miscisin, and I play Esther Smith. And I am a high school student in 11th grade, but I am also a dual enrollment student here at MAC.
okay, so you do take some classes on campus. Is
Yes.
that every day or just certain days of the week?
I have art, drawing one on Mondays and Wednesdays, and the rest of my classes are online.
Oh, okay. All right. And what high school are you from?
I'm homeschooled, actually.
Okay. Hey, is 3 out of the 4?
We're pro homeschool. Yeah. I homeschool as well for my children, and she was homeschooled.
So that was one of the things I just wanted to get a sense of. Can you tell me, Jason, like, just a rough estimate, is it majority of community people, or do we have a lot of MAC students? Or?
So currently, it is majority community. We get the occasional MAC student that participates in auditions, but with the last couple of years of not having any theater classes for credit, you don't get a lot of theater people that are MAC students. But that's all changing soon. So fall of next year, classes will be available again, theater classes for college credit. So I think we're going to see a much bigger influx of the college-age kids and MAC students in particular coming and being in the shows.
Cool. I'm gathering that this is probably not anyone's first show ever.
Actually,
Is it your first show?
It's my first show with the Fine Arts Academy.
Okay.
I did Romeo and Juliet here at MAC back when it was the Little Theater Guild.
Right.
And then I did high school stuff. This is my first musical, though, so it's very different.
Okay. I was going to say, not much of a call for theater in the homeschool circuit, doing a living room performance.
well, I mean, I not to correct you here, but we
fine.
get a lot of homeschool.
I just meant like a show at their own
Oh
place.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Their own program.
We get a lot of homeschool because it is an opportunity for them, to get out of the house and do something and make friends and socialize and do something that they can't do on their own at home. So it's
Yeah, that makes sense. I know they do the same thing with sports. You can join teams and other activities. I was just thinking, I don't have little kids, but if I did, I'd be like, oh, tonight's show is clean your room. And action. That'd be my homeschool theater. We're gonna clean the car and sing at the same time.
right.
Right. Have a little choreography. Let's all open the doors together.
So, how many, or not how many, sorry. I was going to ask about like pre-show rituals. Do you have any sort of like, I hate to use the word superstition, but like, okay, I have to do this certain thing or wear this certain pair of socks or.
I don't know if I should talk about mine. I won't because I'm not a performer anymore. So
dang.
Back in my performance days,
Well, you can if you'd like. Again, just to equate it to something like athletics, I can't step on the line. I've got to jump over it when I get onto the field, or I've got to touch my bat 3 times, or there's all sorts of, and I have to imagine that in a similar way, a performer has got their own quirks and.
All right, so if you don't like what I have to say, you're more than welcome to edit this out. But,
Okay.
So when I was in college. I had a director once tell me that I needed more of a sense of urgency when I was on stage. So on performance days and usually the week leading up to the show, I would wake up in the morning and I would use the restroom and then I wouldn't go to the bathroom again for the rest of the day until the show was over.
Oh,
and so
my gosh.
there were times that it creates a sense of urgency. If you are in a hurry to get the show over, if it's been 12, 13 hours since you've gone to the bathroom. So it was definitely, as ridiculous as it sounds, I truly think it helped me, because one of the big things that the director was Rick Giles here at MAC. But he didn't specifically tell me that's what I needed to do.
Right.
He was like, you need to
You
find
did that
something.
all on your own.
He's like, you need to speed it up. You need to do this. It should always be, there's no walking. It's always running and rushing. And so I'm like, okay, and that was what created that for me, was the serious need to use the restroom.
Were each of your performances like Tim? I can't think of his name. Butler from Clue.
Oh yeah,
where he reenacts
Tim Curry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
At the end where he goes through every person's thing like lightning.
Right.
speed.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously I don't want to compare myself to someone like that, but that was my ritual. Anyone else?
I don't have a ritual. I just scales mostly. I just want to make sure I can hit the high notes. Like, let's warm this voice up a little bit.
Vocal warm-ups?
Yeah, vocal warm-ups. That's about it for me. I'm boring, I guess.
For me, I always listen to the same I have one of two playlists I will play in the dressing room while I'm putting on all my makeup and getting in costume and getting ready. And I like to sit at the same mirror every show.
Okay.
Otherwise, I feel like I'm not going to be as good for some reason if I'm not getting ready at that mirror.
Hey, that's why I asked it. It's
Right.
always interesting to know. Because I'll forget before I jump over. As far as the vocals, I've heard things like tea with honey, or do you do any sort of like
I definitely
liquids?
do that. Yes. Yeah. So every night after rehearsals, I have a tea at night, and then before I will drink one, and then I'll usually have a thermos with me, and I'll actually bring honey as well too, so that if I just need to do like literally a shot of honey to kind of coat the throat, anything like that. So yeah, I guess maybe I do have a bit more than I realized, because it is a lot of tea.
And do you like keep it in the wings, so like if you have like a break or something, you can take a quick?
Yep. So I have a little section backstage. I'll have my water that I brought, my water there, and then I'll have my tea next to it. And I try to make sure it's out of the way of people, to not in a walking path or near props or anything like that. But if I have a moment, I'll go back and do what I just call a little shot of tea. And do you have like the honey separate? I do. I bring in an actual little bear of honey.
So you're like squeezing the bear.
Yes.
Like,
during Seussical, it was like the most popular thing. Everybody, we were kind of all battling sickness during Seussical a couple years ago. So everyone was just kind of like coming up, and I would just literally pour onto their hands, and they would just like, it's
honey?
gross, but they would lick their hands. But it coats the throat, and it really does help.
Yeah, sure.
When you're getting ready to go on to do any of those like super high notes or super low notes.
I just keep a pocket full of lozenges instead.
Well,
of doing
and
that.
doing large cast shows in the era of COVID.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that was...
it was scary. I mean, we during Beauty and the Beast, the gentleman that was playing LeFou got COVID just a couple of days before opening night.
Oh, geez.
So one of our other cast members, Rachel St. Pierre, stepped in and learned the part in like 3 or 4 days, and she did the first 2 performances. And then Jimmy, who was playing LeFou, got better and came back, and he got to do the last 3 performances. But you've really got to stay on your toes, and like you guys can attest to this, but I preach vocal health constantly.
Yeah.
Sleep, hydrate, tea, like do all these things, lozenges, but one of the biggest things that I think people neglect to do is rest. Just going home and getting a good night's sleep is, like it helps you so much. But if you're one of those people that you sit up on your phone till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, then you've got to get up at 6, you're not going to recover. So
I am I'm imagining a dystopian sci-fi future where everyone walks up and they're like, I need the bear. I get a little squirt of it, licking their hand.
Yeah. I had people that just started bringing spoons, and I was like, hey,
Just
that works.
hit me
That
with
works. Yeah.
I need some of the
I
bear.
need some of the fix.
Catch me tomorrow with a spoon.
Which reminds me, recently, so I'm diabetic, right? And I was at a store, and I saw that they had sugar-free honey. And I'm like, I feel like that's going to be something that would be just absolute devastation on your digestive
Yes.
tract. You know what I mean? Like you know,
How?
if you've ever read the reviews for Haribo sugar-free gummy bears.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I picture. You know, yeah. So
can't
what
be
would
good.
sugar-free honey be made of?
Oh my gosh.
It's almost like you have to gargle it and then spit it back out. Right?
Don't actually eat it.
Right.
Not for human consumption.
See, I don't like honey at all, but the amount of times that honey has gotten me through an audition is crazy. Because I always get sick before auditions, like always sore throat. And I'm like, why?
Why?
But honey always saves me.
Yeah, it's true. That's why I bring it.
So do you have any other pre-show rituals? Like,
Not really. Not continuous ones. I was in the Nutcracker because I used to live in California. I was in the Nutcracker, the Sacramento Ballet's Nutcracker for 7 years, and they always had a pre-show ritual. We did like a whole dance and everything.
Yeah.
It was great, and it was like every year. And it was like nobody knew where it came from or when it started, but we all knew it.
Yeah, we're not that cool, and we don't have a lot of really strong dancers either. So
Oh, it was like
we're not a ballet.
We have
hand
people-
movements.
we have people that can definitely fake their way through it, and we have wonderful choreographers who make people that don't know how to dance look like they know how to dance.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
And they're
been my
also very good at camouflaging people by putting them behind
Yes.
the people
Yes.
that dance really well. And I'm not making fun of anyone because I was one of the people that I was always put in the back row in the dances. So those are my people.
There's spots for all.
Now, given what we've learned, I know that, with the exception of maybe you, there are no South Park fans here. But there is an episode where they make fun of Glee, I'm assuming, or High School Musical or something, where like one of the boys is going to school and everybody's doing. He's like, "What is happening?" Like everybody knows these choreographed dances at lunchtime, and he's like, "I'm just trying to eat." And he's like, "Where am I?"
It just breaks out into song.
They keep turning
Why
the
does
stand. He's like,
every-
I'm not going to do it.
Everybody
I'm not gonna
knows
sing
what's
with you guys.
happening except me. Like,
And
Hannah,
that's a
did
musical.
you have any rituals, Hannah?
Well, being the resident Christian, I like to.
air quotes for the listeners at home.
I'm an actual Christian. It's a joke in the cast, okay? But I always say a prayer before I go on stage. That started at Romeo and Juliet, my first show. I just felt really nervous, and I always like to say a prayer. I think, Michael, that you actually prayed with me that show. I did. And I've prayed every show since then with whoever in the cast would like to. And I take a look at my hands, and I see that they're shaking, and I like to tell myself that that's because I'm excited and
Yeah.
not because I'm nervous.
No, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like they'll interview like Olympians and they'll say, "Hey, were you nervous?" They're like, "No, I was excited."
Yeah.
Because your body doesn't know the difference, so you have to. say,
Somebody
"No, no,
taught
this is
me a
exciting."
long time ago that if you're not nervous before you do something, then you're doing the wrong thing. It means you don't care enough about it to be nervous about it.
Right.
And that was a philosophy that I'm like, you know what? I never really thought about that before, but I guess you're right. If you're not nervous about to do something big like getting in front of a crowd or in a big sporting event, maybe it's just that you don't care enough about what you're doing to get nervous about it.
I'm also mad, and I'm not picking on Michael here, but
You should.
in my mind, I'm thinking he's like, "Oh man, Hannah needs all the prayer she can get. I'm gonna jump in on this one with her. Like, please."
Well, she was 14
I'm kidding.
and playing a lead in a huge Shakespeare show.
Sure.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
was
she
my
was
first play
definitely-
ever. I didn't know how to act. I literally I think I went up to you, Michael, the first day that you were there probably at practice, and I was like, how do I act?
And I said, you react.
Yeah.
Be aware, be attentive, be in the scene.
Yep.
And
And
Taught me
Shakespeare's
everything I know.
huge.
That's
so-
jumping in with 2 feet.
Scary.
Yeah,
To
good
go, you're
job.
the lead and your first ever.
yeah, she played Juliet and she knocked it out of the park.
Thanks.
Nice, Hannah.
Maybe sometimes beginner's luck is not the right word, but, no. But the concept of like when you don't know what you don't know, like there's not a certain number
Sure.
of things to be nervous about
Right.
because
Sure.
it's just such a clean sheet,
You don't
and
have
you're
so
like,
much to overthink about.
yeah, you're not exactly.
Yeah.
You
If
don't
you don't
have.
care about Shakespeare,
Yeah. You're like blah.
then it doesn't
blah,
matter
blah.
if you do it right. You know?
Yeah, that would be me. No. It has its place. It just stresses me out.
I'm so tired of the Shakespeare hate.
I know. I'm
I
sorry.
really liked Shakespeare. It was my
So many people do, obviously. I mean, the guy did this a long time ago, and we're still doing his plays.
Still relevant.
Still relevant. So, I mean, it definitely has. It's just, I can't ever understand it. I'm the cliche person. I'm the one, I'm like, I don't know what they just said. And people are laughing, and I don't know why.
My wife she's an expert on it, and I know absolutely nothing.
Oh, see, and that's fantastic. I would just be, I'm so lost.
There is like a comedic historian. I've seen clips of her where she's like, oh, and here she's British, and she's like, oh, here we're passing the site of what used to be the theater and the round theater that burned down, and she's like, kids before Shakespeare's times had it easier in school because they didn't have to learn Shakespeare.
They didn't have to.
So we did A Midsummer Night's Dream about 2 years ago, and a very close friend of most of the cast here, Abby Halleck, wasn't in the show, but she helped us a lot with some of it. And I'd be like, so what do you think of the show? She's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know, So she came and watched the show. And afterwards I was like, so was it better with an audience? And she goes, yeah, because I knew when to laugh, And she's got a big, boisterous, like fill the theater laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
Yes.
like, I would just wait for other people to start chuckling. And I'd be like, ah, ha, 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 And it was pretty fun. If you know Abby, it's the most Abby thing ever.
On the opposite, Abby coming to play That Goes Wrong was the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah, she's the kind of person that can completely change an audience because if it's something she legitimately finds funny, she loses control and the whole audience follows.
Yeah, there's a chain reaction.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like yawning.
Right, yeah.
I enjoy also clips online, usually high school, where a student has fallen asleep. And then it says 1, 2, and everybody starts clapping.
Yeah.
And then they wake up and they're clapping like, somebody just finished a presentation.
Right. That's fantastic.
I'm here. I'm present.
Only a couple times, and I know this has nothing to do with the show, but it's fun to talk about. I'm trying to think, maybe once or twice in high school. College, I don't remember, but somebody would fall asleep and it'd be the end of the class, and the teacher would be like, and we didn't have like a bell. And he's like, everybody be quiet, and we would all leave the room. And if the stars aligned, the other class coming in would pick up on it. And
Just leave the kid there.
and then he wakes up and he's in teacher's different, students are different around him.
That's fantastic.
That's
those
hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Those were fun times.
Easier times.
Yeah, back in my day.
Right.
I got to be honest. I've said this on other podcasts. I am super glad that social media and YouTube was not around to document my various adolescent
I agree
troublemaking.
100%.
MySpace was just becoming a thing as I was graduating high school, so it was just very brand new. Everyone had one. We're ranking friends. But then it did explode, and I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord, for this happening after I graduated.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have embarrassing
no
statuses,
camera
but-
phones, video. My shenanigans are lost to time, which is fine with me.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, looking ahead to the spring, do you do a summer show?
Yeah.
So do we do one in the spring
So we technically do 2 in the spring, 1 in the summer, 2 in the fall. And actually starting this next year, we're going to add a second show in the summer, but it's probably just going to be like a night of one acts or a variety show. We're going to add something, but it's not going to be, more than likely, not a full-blown, full-run production.
Well, I was going to say, for this one, you started rehearsing in October, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Musicals, we rehearse for 8 weeks,
Okay.
and non-musicals for 6 weeks.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's an investment
Yep.
to try to put out 2 productions in the summer.
Sure, yeah.
Something like one acts or variety show makes more sense.
Yeah.
I know, when you said that, I was like, how?
Well,
There's
when
not
I-
enough time in the calendar.
When I went to school here, we actually did 2 summer shows that rehearsed simultaneously, but one would rehearse from like 4 to 6 and the other one from 6 to 8 or 6 or 9, so rehearsals would go back to back. But it typically was the non-musical show was focusing more just on the college students. So, they would be here already pretty much, be here from 4 to 6:30 or whatever it was and rehearse. So I know the one summer I started talking, I can't remember now. Maybe it was like Seussical and Lion in Winter or something we did in the same summer. So they were, right there with each other. And so we had to make both sets essentially portable. It wouldn't have been Seussical because Little Tykes came in and actually built a real playground on stage for that show. So that was kind of neat. I don't know why I'm going back in history here, but yeah, so it was possible, but I don't want to tackle that. That doesn't sound fun at all, like.
But a variety show, no, that does make more sense.
I mean, it's kind of neat, but it's, when I went to school here, there were 16 scholarship students that had to put in hours, and there were a lot of people, and right now it's me and some volunteers, so we don't have those 16 people that have to put in 12, 16 hours a week or whatever to help build things and all that. So we're still chugging along, and we're growing all the time, and our volunteers and stuff like that just keep getting better and better all the time, and we are so blessed with the people that are very involved in this community, and I know we couldn't do it without them.
It's grown so much, much since the first show.
Yep.
I mean, it's astounding. I'm so happy. I mean, I really think that it's brought the reason why MAC is like, oh, maybe we should be bringing this back. Look at how much interest there is and talent in the area.
Absolutely.
There's so much to just choose from in the way of talent.
So like London told you that they came from Sacramento area, and so at age 14 she'd already been in 30-something productions, and her mom told me, she was like, the difference between here and there is, she goes, there's just as much talent here as there is anywhere we were out there. She's like, but when you're in LA, when you're in these places, there's a theater on every other block.
Sure.
She's like, the talent you guys per capita, she goes, you guys are on par with any of those places, because we just keep getting ridiculously talented people to keep showing up.
You said Sherry Francis is helping with the singing aspect of it.
Dr. Francis is awesome.
We love her.
I like to imagine that, because she's very sweet and soft, and then behind closed doors she's like, I can't believe these kids.
We all wonder, like, how does she get her frustration
She's breaking
out?
things, and I'm gonna lose my mind. And
Sherry's one of my biggest helpers, biggest supporters. She's one of the most wonderful people you will ever meet in your life, but I don't know if she's human.
Right.
Because like
she's just nice all the time.
Not just that, but she shows up at campus early in the morning. She's here till almost 10 o'clock every night. If you're online anytime at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, she's online too. I don't know when she sleeps, and I know that I probably have a similar sleep schedule, but I'm not nice. I'm grumpy and I'm crabby and I hurt all the time and stuff.
Well, at least you're aware of it. I guess that's what counts.
For me, I don't understand how it's physically possible to have Sherry's sleep schedule and be able to do all the things she does and always be nice to everyone.
Absolutely.
And always in heels.
Yes. Oh my God.
I mean, the girl's shoe collection is fantastic, and she's always in heels doing all of this. I'm like, she's a saint. I love her.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I don't know, outside of maybe her home, if anyone has ever seen Sherry in sweatpants and tennis shoes and her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She's always done up to the nines and in heels, and
she's very classy.
Yep, very much so.
I'd like to have a rage room on campus if you see me. I feel like maybe her basement is she's just got a ball bat and she just.
I think she has a music studio in her basement.
She probably, she
I
might.
think that she told me that when she was building her
it
house.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm not saying I believe in aliens, but maybe she is.
I found out today at the end of my private lesson with her that I have to have for my music classes that she was skipping her lunch to give me my lesson. And I was like, you can just eat while I sing.
Oh my gosh,
But
she's
like,
a
"No, I need
saint.
to pay
Maybe
attention."
she's a
I was like,
robot that's been sent back from the future.
Brandon might be onto
She
something,
doesn't
guys.
need to eat or sleep.
But instead of being Terminator, she's just here to spread kindness and music.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's the opposite of the Terminator.
She's
She's the
great.
music-nator.
You know how hard Sherry's going to blush when she hears
Yes.
this podcast and hears this
I'm
stuff.
so excited.
Sherry, I love you. We're not trying to embarrass you.
No, not at all. Not at all. I have only interacted with her briefly. I drove a year or so ago. They did like a high school. They bounced to 5 or 6 different high schools to do a song or two, and they needed a driver, so I filled in. That was a good time, driving people around, driving over curbs. Actually, I'll tell on her a little bit. I think she drove over. Instead of backing out, she just like went straight through the over back by behind the schools. She just drove over the patch of grass, and I'm like, well, yeah, there was no curb there, so you just went straight through it. I'm like,
She's
that's
like,
probably
I got 10
smart,
here.
Right, yeah.
you know? Yeah, no big deal. I've seen students do it, so
Oh, I love her.
it's like, you know what? I'm just not going to back out. I'm just going to go through this
Right.
grass.
Just easier.
Saving fuel.
That's
what it is.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But no, that was a good time. Well, look, I really appreciate you guys coming in. I don't want to keep you from, we're a day away from Thanksgiving break. I'm assuming you have rehearsals this evening?
Yeah, we're only off Thanksgiving Day. We're actually going to be here rehearsing Friday, having a tech day on Saturday, and our first rehearsal with the band on Sunday. So we don't even, we don't get an official Thanksgiving break. We just get one day off.
So this one's gonna be like a live band.
Yeah,
with
live pit band, and
Nice.
there are some wonderful people in that room. I mean, and what they're really trying to do now too is when we first started, we were like, we need all the best musicians in the area, and they were coming out and they loved helping. But the more you do this, the more there's conflicts, things like that. So we realized that we really need to start getting a lot of these, the top tier high school kids in here playing in the pit bands. So it's something they enjoy. It's a great experience for them because what are they doing in school that they learn how to play 2 hours of music? You know what I mean? So it helps their chops. It helps their performance. They get to sit next to someone who is either a teacher or a professional musician. So it gives them a ton of experience and helps groom them into someone that can be in future pit bands. Maybe groom was the wrong word. I feel like
That's
that was
okay.
weird.
No, you
We're
know
not
what?
grooming the
As an
children.
English person, I am all about reclaiming words that have been
Yeah.
abused like that.
Right.
So no, you're almost like a mentor.
Yeah.
There's I hate using this word synergy because it's very corporate, and that was my life 2 decades ago. But there is, in any kind of art field, really, when you're with other people doing the same thing, it just sort of elevates what you're doing. And those shows are always great when you've got the live performances. Those are always a lot of fun. Let's again. The .org. Can you tell us the .org for tickets?
mafinearts.org.
That's where you want to get your tickets. Thursday, November 30 through Sunday, December the 3rd. So we had Beth, Michael, Hannah with an H on the front and the end, and London, and of course Jason Carr. Appreciate you guys. Whenever the shows come out for the schedule for the spring, I'll hit you up again. And what I'm saying is, you can't, if you tell me now, I'll forget by the time I get back to my desk. So,
no, I got you. Do you care if I mention when auditions are? Because it's
actually, that's perfect.
Okay.
Go for it.
So the next show we're doing this spring is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Very different from the stuff we've been doing, and we want to tap into that audience, and we want to there's been a whole lot of people in the shows that we've done that are like, hey, when can we do a show geared more towards the adults? So we're going to try it and see how it goes. And so auditions for that are the Sunday after this show ends, December 10th. We won't start rehearsing till January 4th, but auditions are the 10th, and in order to audition, bring a prepared 1-minute vocal audition, something that you have on a Bluetooth device that we can play through the speaker that you can sing along with. You will sing in front of everyone else in the room. And then be prepared to learn some light choreography and possibly do some cold reading, and make sure you wear comfortable clothes and shoes you can dance in. Bring a positive attitude, a pencil, and a smile.
Going to the restroom is optional.
Optional, yes. Yeah.
Apparently, if you want to show urgency.
Yeah,
Right,
urgency.
sense of urgency. Don't pee all day.
So the Sunday, the 10th of December is audition. Now, do they need to register online, or can you just show
No,
up?
just show up.
What time would they?
That'll be 2 p.m.
2
I should have
o'clock?
mentioned that, right?
That's okay. Fine Arts Theater, I'm assuming.
Yes, in
Come
the
to-
theater, 2 p.m., December 10th.
So the Park Hills campus, Mac Theater, 2 o'clock, December 10th to try out, or audition, I should say. And is this what age range?
So the show, rating-wise, is essentially the same as like a PG-13 type show. It's a gory show. But there are roles potentially as young as 12 or so, something like that. But the families would need to know that this is something that they will see blood and gore and very adult themes. So all of that will be explained in auditions. You know, this is what they will be exposed to. If you're okay with that, that's fine. But the younger role can be cast as someone older. You know, you can do 15, 16, 17 years old in that role too.
Okay, so for sure high school.
Oh, yeah,
And
absolutely.
then possibly middle school, depending on the student.
Yep.
And of course, MAC students, community members.
Anybody. Yep.
Anybody who wants to come and sing in front of people.
Yes.
Can they get a lick from the bear?
I guess I can show up backstage if they
you might
need
be
it.
there.
Does
for
London
it.
want to sing "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas"?
Look
I'm
at
just
that.
kidding. Yeah. That's one of the songs she
No.
sings in the show.
Oh, okay.
London here is, and everyone in the room will attest, she's a powerhouse vocalist, and everyone is going to be blown away
Everybody's
when they
been
hear her
crying.
singing. Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
like we hear it every day, and you look around and people like start tearing up when she starts singing.
Okay.
You're like,
I thought it was like some sort of traumatic experience. Your reaction was like,
We weren't
going to
bring that up,
song. Yeah.
You know, like we're supposed to be backstage, and I have to like literally stop myself from just looking out so I can watch her while she's singing it, because it's an iconic song.
And
an
I don't mean
iconic
to
song
take
that you
anything away
do.
from anybody in the room. I didn't mean that at all. Everybody here is a wonderful singer.
I am
No,
offended.
London's fantastic.
No,
It was like the Manchurian candidate or something. She just like,
Right, yeah.
you guys are probably too young to even know what that means. But it's
I
the
know what you
song
mean.
it triggers. you
Right.
know. Well, hey, it was super fun talking to you guys. Thanks again for coming in. Everybody that's listening, if you have to rewind, you can figure out where to get tickets and auditions for the spring. And then we might see some familiar faces. When's that show run?
The Sweeney Todd?
March? Or?
Yeah, it'll be February 29th
Okay.
through March 3rd.
So probably early February, mid-February, I'll try to get some cast members back in, and we'll talk about it. And Michael, you have
Nice.
secrets to share?
No, February 29th? Leap day?
Sleep year.
It's
Yeah, it's
leap
leap
year.
year.
On leap day.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yep.
yeah.
So
Leap year
4
this
years
year.
later, we can celebrate the 1 year anniversary.
Sweeney
Todd.
Todd. Yep,
Some Pirates of Penzance.
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yes,
And
I
was
anytime
gonna-
you want to have us back, we'd love to be back.
I was going to get into the meaning of life, but maybe next time.
Okay,
42.
yeah. We'll say
We'll figure that out. In the meantime, I want you guys to take notes and try to investigate whether Sherry is an alien or
Or a robot.
Yes.
a future
Yes.
robot.
Right.
Maybe there's like a place plug-in charger.
Yeah.
She
I don't know.
might.
What
She
is
just
it?
recharges.
Like
yeah.
Just recharges.
Just goes to a charging port.
Yep.
She doesn't wear her hair up. Keeps it down. It
That's
stops.
the cords in the
if we
back,
have
yeah,
up
there's
the
a-
neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figured it out.
Goodness.
Hey,
We all know what
Sherry,
it is.
I don't mean
God.
that. I love you.
all right, this is it for
He
real.
keeps trying to tell us bye. And
No,
we're not
it's
letting him.
fine.
We're
I-
We don't
theater
get to
people. We
socialize
don't
a lot. No.
Stop
Okay.
talking. No.
The Midwest.
Thank you.
The what they used to say, the animals have just gotten out of the barn and it's just chaos.
Right.
Yes.
No, it's been fun. I appreciate it. Well, all of our listeners, yeah, check out the Mac podcast. You never know what department or what group of people you're going to hear from. So we'll catch you next time. See you guys.
Thank you, Brandon.